Hey everybody, let's look at drawing a simple object with the pen tool and practice the keyboard combination that you need to use to be able to create curves and work between curves and straight lines. All right, so what we have here is a basic diagram of a violin, and it has some in and out, differently curved lines, and you can draw this in one step as you go along if you just follow a few keyboard combinations. So I want you to keep in mind that while you're working, you'd like to have your left hand, I'm right-handed, so my left hand available to press either the Command, the Option, or the Shift key as I work while tracing this object. Also, I do need to make a quick modification on my pen tool settings so that I get the right color as I draw along here. For example, I want to make sure that my fill color is set to none. So that way, as I draw, I don't hide the diagram. And then I'm going to change my stroke color to red or something bright so that it's more obvious as I draw along. And I'm going to make the stroke a little bit bigger. All right. So the way this diagram is going to work is we're going to start with the letter A and just kind of connect the dots as we go around the picture. We're going to position an anchor point wherever we see a square, and then we're going to drag a handlebar to direct the curve in the right direction. So for example, if I go over here to A, I'm going to click and drag downward without letting go of my mouse until the handlebar lines up with the red dot. And that's going to position my first anchor point and my first starting curve. Now, if I go to the base of the violin, I haven't clicked anything. What I'm going to do is position my pen tool so it's right in the middle of the square, and I'm going to drag sideways until that left-hand handlebar lines up with the red dot. Then you see when I let go of the mouse, it reveals the position. So what this diagram is teaching us is that to get smooth lines, you want to use fewer anchor points. The more anchor points you use, like if I just kept going like this, some people are tempted to do that to try to make a curve. That is not what we're trying to do. We can get really beautiful, soft curves just by using very few anchor points. So next one, I'm going to come here to the C and click and drag upward, and you'll see how now it is in position. Now, what happens if I make a mistake? What happens, let's say, if that anchor point was out here and out of alignment? No problem. Sometimes you put something in the wrong place and you get hung up and think you have to start over. Actually, you don't. You can move the anchor point without too much trouble. In fact, that's where that first keyboard shortcut is going to help us. I haven't clicked away or done anything like that. You can see the pen tool is still connected to the original line. But what I'm going to do is press Command temporarily on my keyboard. That is going to give me the direct selection tool, and I'll be able to grab that final anchor point here and move it. I can even stretch or reposition the handlebar as needed, and I haven't let go of the Command key, or on your PC, the Control key. I can reposition it until I'm satisfied, and then when I let go of that Command key, my cursor returns to the pen tool, and that's very helpful. Okay, next, I'm going to go here to D, and I'm going to drag and move that handlebar into the red position. Okay, now I have a problem. If I went to the next spot and started tugging my lines, you would see that the curve goes the opposite direction. It goes the wrong direction. This is where my next little keyboard shortcut comes in handy. If I press Option, my cursor changes into a anchor tool. This one will allow me to grab a handlebar and break it from its sibling on the other side and move it to the orange position. Then I let go of the mouse, and I let go of Option, and my pen tool returns. So what I did was I first positioned the anchor, drew the curve into the right space, then letting go of the mouse, I press Option, or on a PC, Alt, and I select the left-hand handlebar and I drag it over and drop it onto the orange position. then let go of the mouse, then let go of the keyboard. So in this direction, what I've done is I've moved the handlebar so the curve wrapped in the opposite direction. So here I can move on to F, and you can see by having one handlebar move one way, the other handlebar move the other, I get this serpentine line where the line kind of curves in and out. All right, so I'm going to keep going, move to the G position. What do I need to do? Option click, drag the handlebar to the orange position, let go, move on. Drag down. Now what happens if by accident I click away and I lose connection with my line? Because if I just clicked to reactivate that line and went to the next spot, I have a problem. I'm missing the handlebar that's going to create the curve I need. So don't forget that whenever you're going to restart a line, if you press Option when you do that and you click on the last anchor point, it allows you to draw a handlebar at the same time. So you can re-extend that handlebar just by holding Option or Alt when you click that end point. So now I'm going to move to I from H to I Option or Alt click to orange, let go. Now I'm back to J. Final step, take that handlebar into the proper position. And then last but not least, here you can see I have to click and drag. I have to overextend that handlebar again because it's an endpoint. And so now I've finished, completed my outline of the violin. So hopefully that little demonstration shows you how you can take a line, draw it as you go, and just by pressing Option or Command, in other words, Alt or Control on your keyboard, you can control the direction of your line without having to swap tools, without having to hunt and peck on the toolbar, without letting go of the line. So you can just keep going and press on through as you draw your picture. All right, so try that again, practice, practice, practice. That'll make it a lot easier for you as you go along. All right, hope that helps. See you next time, you guys.